It started 3 nights ago. I woke up around 3 a.m. Not because of a sound, not because of a nightmare, but because of a light. A soft green glow coming from the hallway. I got up, half asleep, thinking maybe I left something on. Maybe the router or a charger. But no, it was coming from the baby monitor. The one I bought as a joke at a garage sale. $5. Still in the box. I thought it looked cool, kind of vintage. I don't even have a baby. Never did. But there it was, sitting on the hallway shelf, powered on. I never plugged it in. I stood there for a minute, just staring at it. The little screen was black, but the light was steady, like it was on and watching. I picked it up slowly, expecting nothing, just weird junk acting up. But as soon as I touched it, there was a noise. Static. So, crackling. Then something else. Something low and distant. Too soft to make out. It wasn't wind. Not electronics. It sounded like breathing. I held it to my ear, just to be sure. And right then, the sound stopped. Complete silence. Until I heard one word. Hello. I dropped it. It hit the floor, but didn't break. Didn't shut off. The green light stayed on. Bright and steady. I stared at it, my heart pounding. There was no one else in the house. I live alone, and I swear, that voice sounded just like mine, but younger, like a version of me I forgot. Or maybe something pretending to be me. I didn't sleep the rest of the night. I just sat there, watching the monitor, waiting for it to do something else. It never did, until the next night, at exactly 3 a.m. The next night, I told myself I was ready. I even stayed up, just to watch it happen. No sleep, no dreams, just me, a cup of cold coffee, and that baby monitor sitting on the shelf. At 2:59 a.m., nothing, just quiet. So, then, like clockwork, 3 a.m., the green light turned on. No sound at first, just that soft glow, cutting through the dark hallway like a signal. I didn't touch it this time, didn't move. I just listened, and again, the static came, slow, soft, then breathing. A whisper. This time it said, "Why did you leave me?" My skin went cold. It wasn't just a voice. There was pain in it, like a child crying without tears. But the worst part? It still sounded like me, only broken. I picked it up again. I had to. The second I did, the screen flickered, but then gray. Then something moved across it. Like a blur. I almost dropped it again. It looked like someone, crawling across a floor I didn't recognize. There's no camera in my house. No second half to this monitor. It's just the speaker and screen unit. That's it. So whatever it was showing me, it wasn't from here. And then the voice returned, but this time louder. Closer. Come back, please. And suddenly, I felt something cold brush past my leg, like a hand. I jumped back, nearly tripping over my chair. But there was no one there. No wind, no draft, just me and that baby monitor, still glowing, still whispering. And I realized this wasn't just a sound. It was a message. It wanted something, or worse, it remembered me. But I swear, I've never had a child. I don't think I have. The third night, I tried something different. I moved the baby monitor into the kitchen, shoved it in a drawer, and unplugged it completely. I even took out the batteries, just to be sure. Then I went to bed, telling myself this was all in my head. Just loneliness. Too much time online. I didn't even look at the clock when I closed my eyes. Didn't want to know how close I was to 3 a.m. But I didn't sleep. I felt it before I heard anything. Like the air in the room suddenly thickened. Heavy. So, like the house was holding its breath. Then came the click. A soft mechanical sound. Plastic on wood. I knew that sound. The drawer. Opening. I got out of bed slowly, my feet cold on the wooden floor. No phone. No flashlight. Just my hands out in front of me. One step at a time. I reached the kitchen. The drawer was open. Not all the way. Just enough for something to slide out. The baby monitor was sitting on the counter, plugged in, green light on, and next to it, the batteries I took out. I didn't move, didn't breathe. Then the static began again, like it had been waiting for me. But this time, there was no voice, just sound, a lullaby, soft and slow, like one of those old wind-up toys. But broken, the notes dragged, twisting out of key. And underneath the music, I heard something else. Something scraping, like fingernails across a wooden crib. A second sound. Laughing. Not happy. Not loud. Just a small, dry laugh. Like a baby learning how. It didn't belong. I wanted to run. Wanted to scream. But I just stood there, watching that glowing green light, listening to a lullaby meant for a child I never had. And I whispered without thinking, "Who are you?" The monitor went silent. Then the screen lit up, and words appeared. Letter by letter. "You know me." I stepped back, hit the wall, heart racing, because I didn't know them. I thought I didn't, but that voice, it was starting to feel familiar. Like something I'd forgotten, or buried, and now, it was waking up. I didn't sleep at all after that. I sat in the living room, blanket over my shoulders, monitor on the table in front of me. It didn't make another sound that night. Just sat there, quiet, still, like it was watching me now, waiting. The next morning, I tried to get answers. I called the woman who sold it to me, garage sale lady. Middle-aged, friendly smile. When I asked about the monitor, her voice changed. "Where did you say you got it from?" she asked. "Your garage sale," I said. "Last weekend." She went silent for a moment, then said something I'll never forget. "That wasn't mine." I froze. "What do you mean?" She cleared her throat. "That box came from the attic. My husband put it out without checking. It belonged to the people who lived here before us." That's more, but she wouldn't say much. Only that the last family left suddenly. Didn't even take most of their stuff. She hung up before I could ask anything else. Now I had more questions than answers. That night, I placed the monitor outside on the back porch. I wanted space between me and it. At 3:00 a.m. I heard it again, but not from outside, not from the porch. The sound was coming from the baby room, the one I never use, just an empty room down the hall. I got up, slowly, each step louder than the last in the dead quiet. The door was closed. I never closed that door. My hand shook as I reached for the handle. It felt cold. When I opened it, I couldn't move, because the monitor was on the dresser, inside the room, plugged in, green light on, and right next to it, a crib that wasn't there before, wooden, rocking slightly, at first glance, but then I leaned in and heard breathing, so sleepy, rhythmic. Something was in the crib. I couldn't see it, but I could feel it. The air was heavy again, like something unseen was pressing against my chest. Then the monitor whispered, "You left me in the dark." I stumbled back, slammed the door, and locked it. I don't know what I'm more afraid of now, that I've brought something into my home, or that it was always here, just waiting for me to remember. You said, I didn't open that door again. Not the next day, not the next night. I kept walking past it, feeling it pulse behind the wood, like the room was alive now, and the crib, still rocking, even when no one was near it. I tried to move out. I really did. I packed a bag, got in my car, started the engine. But the second I pulled out of the driveway, my phone rang. No number, just the word, home. And when I answered, there was no voice, just a recording, a child's voice, counting. 3. It stopped at 3. Then the call ended. My hands were shaking. I turned the car around. But I don't know. Maybe something in me wanted to see. Maybe I already knew. There was no running from this. When I walked back into the house, the monitor was in the hallway, placed neatly in the center. Its screen lit up. No sound, no static, just a single image. A photo of me, holding a baby, smiling. But I don't remember that photo. I've never taken it, and I don't know that child. I shouldn't, but there was something in their eyes. Something familiar. I stared at the image, heart pounding, as the screen slowly dimmed, and a whisper rose again. You said you'd keep me safe. I dropped the monitor. This wasn't just haunting me anymore. It was accusing me, like I'd broken a promise I never knew I made. And deep down, a part of me was starting to believe it. Because what if this wasn't a stranger? What if this wasn't just a ghost? What if this was mine? Something I forgot, or worse, chose to forget. You said, I barely made it through the day. Every shadow felt closer. Every sound felt louder. The house was quiet, but not empty. It watched me. I could feel it, especially when I passed the baby room. Still locked. Still rocking. I tried to ignore it, tried to distract myself. But around 2:50 a.m., the temperature dropped. I didn't check the time. I didn't have to. I just knew. The air got thick again, like walking underwater. And the monitor was back, on my nightstand this time, facing me, glowing. I hadn't touched it, hadn't moved it, but there was waiting, humming softly. I didn't want to look, but I did. And this time, the screen wasn't showing a room. It was showing a face, a child's face, eyes wide, looking straight at me, not blinking, not smiling, just watching. Then the voice returned. Only now it sounded clearer, like it wasn't coming from the monitor anymore. Why did you forget me? I jumped out of bed, ran to the bathroom, shut the door, locked it. I stared at myself in the mirror, trying to breathe, trying to be logical. This can't be real. It can't. Then I noticed something. In the reflection, behind me, the door slowly opening. But when I turned around, nothing. Still locked. Still closed. Just me. And the whisper, coming from right behind my ear. You promised. I screamed. I don't even remember how long. But I didn't sleep after that. I sat in the corner of the room, light on, door open, waiting for morning. But one thought kept crawling through my head. What did I promise? And who did I promise it to? Because that face on the screen, it looked like someone I should know. Someone I might have once loved. And I had the sinking feeling I was the reason they were gone. You said, the next morning felt like a dream I couldn't wake up from. Everything looked the same, but nothing felt the same. I kept the monitor unplugged, buried deep in a drawer. I even wrapped it in a towel, like I was scared it could hear me, but I could still feel it, like a heartbeat under the floor. I spent hours going through old boxes, drawers, closets, looking for anything that could explain this. Something. A picture. A name. A memory. But there was nothing. No baby photos. No toys. No crib. Just my things. My life. Alone. Until I opened an old storage bin in the attic. It was taped shut. Was it untouched for years? Inside, a small blue blanket, folded neatly, and under it, a hospital bracelet. Faded, but the name was clear. Baby R. Same last name as mine. Same birth year as me, but no date, no first name, no record, just that. And suddenly, my head started spinning, not from fear, from something else. Like a door inside me had creaked open, just a little. Flashes, a white hallway, a crying sound, me standing at a window, hands trembling, and someone whispering, "You'll forget. It's better if you forget." I don't know if it was a memory or a dream, but it felt real. Too real. I dropped the box, stumbled back, fell against the wall. That's when I heard the monitor again, even wrapped in a towel. "Shut away." I heard it. "Sure. You said you'd be there." And then a second sound, not from the monitor, from the baby room. The crib was rocking again, but slower this time. Like it was waiting for me. I didn't move, didn't breathe, because now I wasn't just afraid of what was inside that room. I was afraid it might be part of me. You said, I avoided the baby room the whole day, didn't go near it, didn't even walk down that hallway. But the rocking didn't stop. I could hear it, no matter where I was. Like a metronome, a ticking clock, counting down to something I didn't understand. By evening, the monitor had moved again, back on the kitchen counter, still unplugged, still wrapped in that towel, but glowing. I didn't ask out loud. Not anymore. Questions only brought more voices. So I sat there, just watching, and the screen lit up. No static this time. No face. No words. Just a video of me, in the hallway, from behind, walking toward the baby room. I hadn't done that. Not recently. Not today. But in the video, I reached for the door, slowly turned the knob, and went inside. I slammed the monitor face down, backed away. I was done. I grabbed my coat, my keys, ready to leave for good. But then, a cry. Not from the monitor, from the baby room. A child, crying. It echoed through the house like thunder. Sudden, heartbreaking. And it stopped me. Cold. Because it didn't sound like a ghost. It didn't sound evil. It sounded scared, alone, needing someone, needing me. I stood there at the front door, hand on the knob, but I couldn't turn it. The crying continued, and under it, faint but there, the whisper came again. "Please don't leave me again." And I realized, whatever this thing was, whatever I had forgotten, I had left it once before, and now, it wouldn't let me do it again. You said, that night, I didn't sleep. I sat on the couch, staring at the baby room door down the hall. It was still closed, still locked, but the crying never stopped. So, steady, like it was coming from under the floor, or from somewhere deeper. I tried to block it out, tried music, TV, anything, but nothing drowned it. Around 3 a.m., the sound changed. No more crying. Now it was humming. A lullaby again. Same broken melody from before, like it was stuck in a loop. I walked toward the room slowly, barefoot, each step heavier than the last. I unlocked the door. My fingers were shaking. It creaked open by itself. The rocking crib was still there, but now it had something inside. Not a baby, not a doll, just a small, folded note. I didn't want to read it, but I did. 4 words, written in a child's scrawl. "You left me here." My hands went numb. I looked up, and for the first time, there was something in the corner. A shape. Well, still, like a shadow trying to be a person. I couldn't see its face, but I could feel its eyes. And for a moment, I wasn't scared. I was sorry, because deep down, some part of me remembered. Not everything. Not yet. But I remembered this room. I remembered the crib. I remembered a night filled with sirens, yelling, and me walking away, leaving someone, behind. And now, That something had followed me, not to hurt me, but to ask, why? And maybe worse, why did you forget? I didn't run this time. I stayed in the room. The air was cold, but not angry, just empty, like a place that had waited too long to be remembered. The shadow in the corner didn't move, didn't speak, but the feeling in my chest, it said everything. I whispered, "I'm sorry." The shadow tilted its head, like it was listening, like it had been waiting to hear that for a long time. And then, the crib started rocking again, but slower, gentler, like it wasn't being moved by something, more like it was breathing. I don't know what came over me, but I sat down on the floor, right there, in that room. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just remembered, bits and pieces. There was a child, the baby, a secret no one knew, born too soon, gone too fast. I buried it inside me, never told a soul, moved to a new place, started over, convinced myself it hadn't happened. But pain doesn't disappear. It waits. And now, after all these years, it had found a voice. Through the monitor, through the lullaby, through the silence of 3 a.m. The monitor buzzed to life again. This time, no static, just a single word on the screen. Stay. I stared at it for what felt like forever. And finally, I said the words out loud. You're not alone anymore. The lights in the room flickered. The crib stopped moving. The shadow in the corner faded. Not gone, but resting. And for the first time in days, the house was silent. Not empty. So, like someone had finally been heard. And someone else had finally remembered. The next morning felt different. The house didn't feel heavy anymore. It was still quiet, but not the kind of quiet that pressed on your chest. More like this. I made coffee, sat by the window, listened to the wind. No crying, no lullaby, no whispers. I almost thought it was over. Almost. Until I walked past the baby room. The door was open now. The crib still there. Still empty. But on the floor beneath it, a new object had appeared. A small toy. A wooden block. One side had the letter R. Another side had a tiny drawing scratched into it. The house, with smoke coming from the chimney. I picked it up. It was warm, like someone had just been holding it. And then I saw the mirror across the room. For a second, just 1 second, I wasn't alone in the reflection. There was someone behind me, well, smiling, eyes filled with something I hadn't seen before. Not sadness, not fear, just hope. But when I turned around, no one was there. Only the block in my hand, and the whisper again, so soft, it was almost inside my head. You remember now? I nodded, because I did. Not everything, not clearly, but enough. Enough to know that this wasn't a haunting. It was a reaching out. Once forgotten, just asking to be seen. And now, they were. That night, I didn't wait for 3 a.m. I sat in the baby room early, lights off, just the soft glow of the monitor beside me. It wasn't showing anything, just a black screen. But I knew it was listening, and maybe watching. I spoke gently. I don't know everything yet. I don't remember all of it. But I know you were here. You were real. You mattered. The monitor crackled. Then a voice. Faint, fragile, like a breeze through a half-open window. Do you still love me? I didn't even hesitate. Yes. And I meant it. Even if I couldn't explain why. Even if I didn't fully understand how. My heart remembered, even if my mind still struggled. The room stayed quiet, but it felt lighter, like that one word was all they had been waiting for. I stood up, walked over to the crib, and there, right where the block had been earlier, was a second note. This one was typed. Not in a child's handwriting, but mine. I don't remember writing it. I don't remember ever typing it. But it said, "Don't run this time. Stay with them. They're waiting." My breath caught, because something inside me knew. This wasn't just about a ghost. This wasn't about fear. This was about memory, about guilt, about a connection I tried to erase. But you can't delete love. Not real love. Even in death, it finds a way back. And now, it had. I didn't leave the room that night. I sat by the crib, wrapped in a blanket, watching the monitor quietly hum beside me. It didn't turn on. No voices. No shadows. Just silence. And I realized something. This wasn't a haunting anymore. It was a conversation between the living and what was left behind. I closed my eyes for a moment, not to sleep, just to feel. The wood floor under me, the soft hum of night outside, the quiet stillness of something long broken, finally healing. When I opened my eyes again, the monitor screen had changed. There was no static, no video, just white text on black. "Do you forgive yourself?" My throat tightened. My chest ached. I didn't know how to answer that. I wanted to say yes. I needed to say yes. But the truth was, I didn't know if I deserved it. I let go. I forgot. I turned my back on someone who needed me and buried the memory so deep. It took a ghost to bring it back. So I sat there, and I whispered, "I'm trying." That's all I could offer. An honest answer. The only one I had. The screen flickered once. Then the message changed. "That's enough." I let out a shaky breath. Tears I didn't know I had spilled down my face. Because somehow, somewhere in that moment, I knew they forgave me. And maybe, just maybe, I was starting to forgive myself too. I woke up on the floor of the baby room. The morning sun was peeking through the curtains, painting soft light across the crib. For the first time, it felt warm in here. Not haunted, not heavy, just quiet. The monitor was still beside me, but the screen was blank. No sound, no message. It was just a piece of plastic now, like whatever was inside it had finally let go. I stood up slowly, like stiff and still foggy, but heart lighter. I looked around the room, half expecting something to move, a voice to whisper, a shadow to appear. But nothing happened, because it didn't need to. Whatever needed to be said had been said. Whatever was trapped was free. I turned to leave the room, but stopped at the door. Something small caught my eye. On the windowsill, another wooden block. This one with the letter L. I smiled, not because I fully understood what it meant, but because it felt like a message. A goodbye. A thank you. Or maybe a promise that whatever connection we had wasn't completely gone. Just peaceful now. I picked up the block, held it in my hand, and I said the words I should have said years ago. "I love you. Always." Then I closed the door, not to shut the past out, but to keep it safe. And when I walked away, I didn't feel haunted anymore. It's been weeks now. The baby monitor hasn't turned on again. No whispers, no crying, no more lullabies at 3 a.m. The crib is still in the room, but I don't go in often. I don't need to. What needed to happen, happened. And somehow, in the quiet that followed, I found something I didn't know I was missing. Sometimes I still wake up at night, out of habit, expecting a sound, a flicker, a sign, but there's only silence. Not the kind that scares you, the kind that holds you. I kept the wooden blocks, the one with the R, and the one with the L. They sit on my bookshelf now, right next to a framed photo. It's blank, no image, just light reflecting off glass. But when I look at it, I feel something, like someone's still there, watching, not haunting, just watching. And sometimes, when I pass the baby room, I hear a faint creak, like a rocking chair gently moving, even when no one's in it. It doesn't scare me. It reminds me of what I lost, of what I buried, and of what found its way back. Some stories don't end with answers, just understanding. And this one was never about fear. It was about love that refused to be forgotten, even through static, even through silence, even through death. You said, so now I live with the quiet, not the kind that hides something dark, but the kind that holds something sacred. People still ask why I have a baby room, why I live alone, why there's a monitor in a house with no child. I don't explain. Not really, because this wasn't a ghost story. Not in the way they think. It was memory, twisted together in the only way it could reach me. Through the one thing I couldn't ignore. A voice in the dark, calling out from the silence. And now, when I hear that silence, I don't run. I listen. Because sometimes, the most haunted place isn't the room. It's your heart. And when you finally let yourself feel it, really feel it, you understand. They weren't trying to scare me. They were trying to come home. Maybe they finally did.